If you want to grab our men's lifestyle supplement and male advantage ebook, all links are in the bio. But that compared to that, the size gains are enormous. Now, if I were to help him out here, maybe I could say, I know his age is very close to 30 now. Bone mass and muscle mass peaks at 30. With correct training, little tweaks to your lifestyle, he's hanging around with Mike and Matt. Maybe he's picking up tips off all these top fitness guys. Maybe he's improved that much more. Okay, that is plausible. Secondly, he might have just finished a gym session and he might have just gone really big and heavy so that he could do a shot like this, and he's looking absolutely pumped. Plausible, but his entire frame looks bigger. But like I said, at 30, bone mass and muscle mass does peak. Maybe he's grown again, who knows. You could say he's got more of a tan, okay? And there's favorable lighting because the sun is beaming down from above on top of him. He's definitely oiled up, which is a fantastic move. I don't blame any guy for doing that for your socials. It's quite funny. Hello guys, and welcome back to another video. In this video we're going to be talking about, can you possibly get into elite shape without steroids or, PEDs or whatever you want to call them. It's a very tough debate, and we're going to be looking at some pictures in a minute. We're going to go over there and look at an individual case study, somebody who I believe may have taken in the last year or so and gone up another level. But it's very tough to answer, because a lot of people will cite the fitness community, the fitness models. That's where people are looking a lot and saying these guys are not natural. Okay, there's a lot of guys in the kind of strongman community. You just know that they're on steroids. Okay, there's certain people you just look at you can look at and you just think, yeah, of course you are. Like, this guy's literally been making gains for like 10-15 years non-stop, breaking PBs every year. Doesn't really make sense. And then they have a heart attack at like 45. It's just fucking obvious, right? They show every sign as well. But the fitness community is where I want to kind of aim my focus, kind of YouTube, Instagram, etc., these sort of guys, because I believe these guys are kind of sought after the most. For example, Eddie Hall looks fantastic now that he's shredded, and he was the strongest man in the world at one point. I don't believe every man in the world wants to look like that. I believe most men in the world would want to look like Mike Thurston, or Matt Does Fitness. I imagine that's how most guys want to look, where they've just got a decent amount of muscle, they're very lean, and not only, they're kind of in that sexy shape where it attracts women. You can build a brand around it. Other men want to look like you. You look good in clothes and with your clothes off. Like, that's kind of how guys want to look, where it's appealing to the modern masses. One thing I will say in the defense of these guys, okay? Now, it's very hard to defend somebody like Mike Thurston because he is in elite shape. But I'll say a couple of things here. And you guys have got to understand throughout this whole video, I'm coming from a men's lifestyle angle. I'm not hating on any of these guys. I don't want to get involved in this whole natty or not thing. I'll leave that to Derek at More Plates, More Dates. He's excellent at it. He knows more than me. I don't want to get involved in it. It seems toxic to me. There's so many people hating each other. One thing I want to say, I'm in the men's lifestyle community. Any guy taking steroids or not, as long as he is lifting weights and encouraging others to go out and get fit, I'm happy with it. I don't care. If you're on steroids, I don't really care. If it's something like TRT, I really don't care, because I don't think it's that bad. And if you're out there and you've got 1 million followers and you are promoting other men to go out there and lift weights, and yeah, they might not ever get to your level, but they end up looking better than they ever did before. It cures their depression. They get a girlfriend, have a family off the back of that, have a good, productive life. I mean, I'm not against that. And also, within the male lifestyle community, I want to believe that these guys are natural. I want to believe. It's lovely if I can come on camera and say to you guys, anybody can look like Mike Thurston. It just takes hard work. Fairy tale land, that would be fantastic. I pray that these guys are natural. I really do, because it would be fantastic. I would love to see their blood work, etc., and just be like, wow, it's possible. It would give me 4,000% more motivation in the gym every day, and then I could feed that back to you guys, and You know, by the end of this video, let's say if an extra 10,000 guys were like, oh, I'm going to go and train now because this has encouraged me that I can look like that. It is possible. I mean, that's the best scenario in the world, is it not? You know, so, but the other thing I'll say in the defense of these guys is that this is their job, okay? This is what they do all day, every day. Now, if your job was to juggle, I'm pretty sure if you just juggled 16 hours a day, I'm not saying they're training 16 hours a day, but they're probably around these circles where they're talking about it, talking about diet, researching, watching videos, talking to each other in the gym, whatever, finding new exercises. They are experts. If you just juggled all day, every day, I'm sure eventually you'd be doing some crazy shit where it'd be going under your leg and all that shit, right? You'd be fucking amazing where people would be like, whoa, is this guy a robot? How the hell is he doing that? There's a certain skill level and experience level that these guys have that they've built up over the years. And I think they're due some respect off the back of that. I think people should understand that they do know more than us. They've been doing this longer than us. You know, while I'm working on my business, they're training. They're researching diet. You know, diet stuff like that. When I used to be at my 9-to-5 job back in the day, these guys were in the gym. Again, they were researching diets. They were cooking food properly. Rather than me being like, fuck, I was rushed off my feet this morning. I have to go and buy something from the local shop or whatever. Oh, 2 sandwiches and a fucking chocolate bar. That'll do because I'm so stressed out at work. I have to fly in and go and sort everything out in the next 10 minutes. We're behind on this. They don't have that. They don't have that at all. They don't have the stresses that comes with that. You know, as they've gone up in the fitness industry, they've earned more money, which means that they're eating better quality foods. They're literally doing the exact shopping that they want to do, which is £200-300 more a month, but it gets them in the best possible shape. They're buying organic, they're buying elite foods, they're buying, you know, the raw forms of foods, they're buying all the best supplements, whatever. They've got everything that they'd ever want to be in shape. Like, they're not at a job, they're not stressed, they're always focused on what they want to do. They're having exactly 8 hours sleep per night. It is different, guys. It is different. Like, they probably got a reverse osmosis machine where their water is a bit purer than the shit you get out of the tap or from a Brita. You have to understand that, okay? That's one element that I have to promote out there about these guys as to why they might be natural. Now, the second component for me is that these guys are bodybuilders. They're not athletes. They're bodybuilders. They're not strongmen, okay? And people get the idea of body building completely wrong, okay? It's body building. That's what you're doing. So if you see a guy in the gym and he doesn't lift as much as you, but he looks 10 times better, it doesn't mean he's on steroids. You know, I've seen these guys. I've seen the likes of Mike Thurston, Matt Does Fitness, and all these other guys. I watch their videos on YouTube. I love watching them. It's great content. They encourage men to be better in life, and that's what I love, okay? They're all about the male advantage without knowing that it exists, and I love that. It's really, you know, motivating and encouraging. But I've seen in multiple of their videos where they talk about training certain body parts and focusing on that muscle. And like, your head has to be inside the muscle. And they like close their eyes and they actually think about how that muscle's working. Matt Does Fitness talks about how he'll sit there on a normal day and like just squeeze his pecs together to understand what that feels like to squeeze that one area. So the next time he's benching, he wants to emulate that squeeze so that he gets proper training in his pecs. Okay. There was another guy who was talking about rowing, and he was saying when he's training his back and he's rowing back like that, it took him like 3-4 years to realize that he was actually just training bicep, or bicep was involved for like 40-50% of the exertion being used to emulate that movement. So as he was going back, it was just all bicep here, and his back was working as well, but he said it was all bicep. And then he realized as he went out wider like that, you know, it became all about back and bicep came out of the equation. He was then lifting lighter weights, but he was getting way more benefit and his muscles actually grew. This is something that these guys do that most other people don't do. You know, most people get on the bench press, slam it up as heavy as they can. Oh, 130, I'm a beast. Whereas these guys might do 90 kg, shoulders back. You know, the elbows aren't flaring out here. They keep everything tight. They focus. They're within the muscle. They're thinking the whole time. I'm in the muscle. I've got to squeeze my chest. How does that feel? Pushing it up. Oh, that's a tight burn, and back down. And then somebody will watch and say, that's only 90 kg. This guy's a fraud, fake weights, or all of that shit. They're building their bodies. They're more worried about aesthetics than they are strength or being an athlete. They don't want to break a world record. They just want to look good. It's the best thing for their brand. And this is how they do what they do. Okay, so as much as somebody might become a strongman and lift a ridiculous amount of weight, these guys are focusing on how do I look as if I'm in a ridiculous frame of shape. Like the mindset is completely different. And that is why I believe they get to an elite level. That's why I want to believe they get to an elite level. That's my defense of these guys, okay? The other thing I'd like to say, me personally, I have ridiculous genetics. I would have been a professional footballer had I not got injured. I used to do 100 meters in a really, really quick time. It was sub 11 seconds consistently. Strength-wise, I mean, I only have to train for like a week and I'm stronger than everybody who's been training for like a year. I'm very lucky in that sense. I can box really well. I'm very powerful, fast twitch muscle fibers, and it's very easy for me to get in shape. You guys saw my bulk recently. I'll bring it back on screen now. This is the second bulk of my life. Like I bulked before and it was just effortless. I went up, I did a similar transformation. And then I came home gym during COVID. I've had that transformation naturally. Okay, I've used a couple of ingredients like maca, ashwagandha, cordyceps, etc., which are in my supplement, which is why I put them in there so you guys can get a similar benefit. But that was it. I mean, they're not like steroids or whatever. DHEA is close. Tonga Ali has some massive testosterone benefits, but they're not like steroids, okay? But that's the only thing I used. And I know from personal experience, when I really focus where I am now, like I don't have a 9-to-5 job. I'm focused on this business and the gym. I can go to the gym and do 1 hour, 2 hour in the morning now. I can come back, I can train a little bit more here. I can really focus on what I'm cooking, what I'm eating, etc. I have a lot more money now. I can buy the best foods. It's becoming a lot easier. So I do appreciate from that point when you do have good genetics and you do really focus, etc. I'm in a scenario now where a few people have started questioning and saying, did you take anything? Did you take TRT? And I'm going, oh, right, okay, maybe in a year or two's time, people will be saying to me, this guy's on steroids. You just don't know, okay? Like the elite guys won't, but people who are at the bottom, who are just starting their journey are like, oh, that's steroids. Or people who have trained incorrectly and not tracked their calories. It's the first year I've ever really tracked my calories. Before that, I was just eating for fun. I feel hungry, I'll eat. I'm bulking, I'll eat as much as I can. This year, I've really tracked my calories and got the best results in my life. And the cut is effortless. Went from once I bulked to 22% body fat. I'm now down to 15% body fat just because I'm tracking my calories. And I've still retained the majority of the muscle. This is what it takes, okay? These top guys have this extra knowledge and experience and they are body builders. That's the entire aim of their life, is to look good. Now, and that's all they're doing all day. So in that sense, it makes me think, can you get in elite shape naturally? Yes. In that sense, I would say yes. I would say you can definitely do it. Now we're going to move over to the screen to argue the other side of the coin, or to weigh up how a guy called Rob Lipset looks. And one thing I want to say about Rob is he's the king of the naturals, in my opinion. He's encouraged so many people to go out there and train. What a great guy. I invited him on the podcast once, only had 8,000 followers at the time. He said no. Look, no hard feelings towards the guy. I understand. He's probably got better things to do. He was really busy. 8,000, maybe 1,000 will watch. I don't know if it's worth his time. He might be able to come back on now. Who knows? I'd love to get him on and have a chat because I think his fitness journey is fascinating. And I'm going to break down because he's recently in the last year gone from really, really great shape to elite Mike Thurston level. And a lot of people have started questioning what he's done, okay? And there's a few caveats. We'll weigh them up when we look at the pictures. But I just wanted to get that out there, that this isn't a video to shit on him. I love what he's doing. Anybody, if he is taking TRT, HGH, whatever, anybody who has inspired hundreds of thousands, if not millions of men to go and pick up weights and get fitter, look better, and have a better life, you're a friend in my book. I don't want to shit on them. And I've given the benefit of the doubt at the start to all these people. I don't want to get involved in this natty argument with people. I just don't like it. I think that the fitness community is toxic. Everybody should just get in shape for their own benefit. But I just want to help you guys out so that you know whether you can get in shape naturally, to an elite level. You should still train regardless if you can't, but are you wasting your time chasing these top guys? Let's find out what they are taking, and then you can weigh up and make a decision whether it's right for you. If you're going to get blood work done, is it too complicated? Are the risks too high, etc.? Who knows, right? But I think it's worth looking at. So let's move over. Okay, guys, so the first photo I want to look at here of Rob is from 2015, 2016. I would guess that this is 2017. Otherwise, at the end of the day, why would you not put the date on here? I would assume this was done in 2017 so that people would assume when they saw the picture, oh, this is now, this was last year, this was, because otherwise, why would you put 2018 if it was in 2017? Do you see what I mean? So that's power deduction. I imagine it was 2017. I know this guy started training at like 19, 20. And we can already see here, this is already a high level of fitness. I think most guys globally would be like, this is it. This is my end goal. He's here in 2015. So like 6 years ago, coming on 7 years ago now. Let's just say 6 years ago. So he's looking in pretty elite shape, I think. And this is encouraging, guys, because this is natural. This is natural too, okay? It's all natural. I'm just saying this start and end, this is all natural. I'm 100% sure of it. And for most guys, if they were in this shape or this shape, I mean, I'm not circling this because I believe this is competition ready. It's not sustainable. He doesn't look healthy. This is healthy. This is the most attractive. 10% body fat perhaps. And I think he looks fantastic here. I think any guy looks like this, they'd be happy for life. You're getting women. Other guys are going to want to look like you. You wouldn't be afraid to take a few pictures of your top off. Like, he looks fantastic here. Here again, like, it looks fantastic, but this is an elite level. I think here, this is kind of beginner gains. He's really gone for it. He's then cut that as much as he could down to the lowest percentage body fat he could for competition. I'd say he's about 9, bordering on 8 there. I'd say he's about 8-9% body fat. And then he's decided, okay, now I'm going to get healthy. So I imagine he's done a small bulk, very small, and then cut back down and done a small one within the probably 8 to 16 body percentage range, and then cut back down to 10 here. I imagine this was all done in kind of like a year. So this year to that year was probably like a cut to make himself look as conditioned as possible. Then I imagine he decided to get healthier and add some muscle. You can see he's got more weight on his face. He's gained, he's definitely bulked. And then he's cut it back down to a healthy amount. So you can see his lats aren't as protruded, his abs aren't as shredded, but he looks fantastic. Okay, he looks great. This is natural, and this is elite. I would say this is elite. I don't know what you guys think, but I would say this is elite. And this is what I love about Rob is the king of the naturals. I just think it's undoubtable that this guy on the right hand side is natural. I just don't see how you don't, like, look at the progression from 2015. I would say that everybody in the world would assume that is natural in the top, and then he's got shredded for a competition, and then he's got, on the right hand side, he's become healthy on the right, and he's this is end goal. But this is the problem, is so many guys get to this level, they look fantastic, and then they want to go up another level. And this is my one question with Rob, but this is so encouraging. I mean, millions of men can go out now and know that they can get to this shape with probably 4, 5, 6 years of hard work. You might not make any gains after the 4th year, but you can definitely improve your conditioning and improve your lifestyle and certain little things about your life. I know this is massive in the NFL. This is something they do with young players. These young players come in looking fantastic, and the coaches say, oh, you've been doing this the whole time? Oh, well, let's tweak this, tweak this, tweak this. Like, the conditioning coach will say, well, we just need to change your lifting routine like this. You've been lifting the same weights for 3 years. Let's up this to here. You've got a weakness here. And then next thing you know, that player looks 10% better, which is, 10% better at this point is elite of the elite. Like, that's insane. If you could put 10% improvement on this body, that's another level. But I think that's encouraging to see that, Rob there is definitely natural, in my opinion. I don't think there's any warning signs there. If he gets more of a tan, he's on holiday, whatever, he's going to look, top level. I think most guys, that's top 1%, isn't it? I think most guys would look at that and say, yeah, I'll take that body. I don't think that's too bad at all. So to answer the question of can you be in elite shape naturally, I think the answer is yes. But this guy's whole life is dedicated to fitness. Now, that's not to say he's in the gym 10 hours a day. It's not optimal to be doing that. But he's not got the stresses of a 9-to-5 job. He's focused on this one thing. His entire goal is bodybuilding. He's cooking food every single day for this exact purpose. He can go out and go shopping at 2 p.m. on a Monday when most people are at work. Like, there's, he can have a lie-in on a Tuesday if he's absolutely knackered, get an extra 2 hours of sleep, and then his body is elite, whereas someone else is, kind of skinny fat because they're getting 6 hours of sleep per night because they're stressed from their job, and this guy doesn't have kids. There's so many little caveats like that people just don't understand. However, let's now move on to the photo that has incited red flags in a lot of people's minds, including mine. But I want to give this guy the benefit of that because I do like him, and I just think it's great for men's lifestyle. But it's this, and I put this together myself, okay? I've added these two together, but the picture in question is this one on the right. And I think immediately when you look at it, it does strike you as being another level above what we were looking at here in this picture previous. Okay, look at that. I probably should have put these two together, but we can pretty much see he's definitely bigger. He's definitely bigger, which is fine, okay? Like, you can be bigger, but not after 6-7 years of training. It doesn't really make sense. Anybody with an ounce of fitness knowledge knows that you get beginner gains in your first year. Second year, you kind of get progressive gains. You will get, like, first year you might gain 10 pounds of lean muscles. Second year it might be like 6 to 7. Next year it might be like 3, and then the fourth year it might be like 1 or 2 pounds. You really struggle to whack it on. Well, Rob, at this point, I mean, from the first picture we saw, and he had been training before that, but let's give him the benefit of the doubt and just say that this was the first year he started until now. Well, this is 6 years of gains, okay? And this was 2017. I mean, so that's beginner gains, year 2, year 3. We'd say year 4, year 5, year 6, and we'd end up here. It doesn't really make sense, because that would be... He shouldn't be gaining more muscle like this at that point. It's just too many years separated. Now, if he had started here and he was a genetic beast, and then on year 4 he looks like that, then I'd say there's no debate. There's no debate at all. But the fact that he is significantly bigger on the right-hand side in these two pictures, and on the left he's already in very, very good shape. I wouldn't say he's the most conditioned on the left to how he's been. I would definitely say he looks best here. He's more conditioned. He's about as lean here as he is in the other picture, but he's definitely whacked up. Look at the size difference, guys. I should have put these two pictures together. I might do it in the edit. I might put this together for you. But that compared to that, the size gains are enormous. Now, if I were to help him out here, maybe I could say, I know his age is very close to 30 now. Bone mass and muscle mass peaks at 30. With correct training, little tweaks to your lifestyle. He's hanging around with Mike and Matt. Maybe he's picking up tips off all these top fitness guys. Maybe he's improved that much more. Okay, that is plausible. Secondly, he might have just finished a gym session, and he might have just gone really big and heavy so that he could do a shot like this, and he's looking absolutely pumped. Plausible, but his entire frame looks bigger. But like I said, at 30, bone mass and muscle mass does peak. Maybe he's grown again. Who knows? You could say he's got more of a tan, okay? And there's favorable lighting because the sun is beaming down from above on top of him. He's definitely oiled up, which is a fantastic move. I don't blame any guy for doing that for your socials. It's quite funny. So, there's little things that you could pick at there, and I definitely think his body fat percentage is maybe 1 or 2% lower than he is on the left. He's definitely looking in better condition. Like, he's sleeping better, he's taking better care of his diet. I imagine instead of having some dirty cheat meals and kind of just, that'll do for now, as long as my calories in a deficit. I think on the right here, he's gone from the Mike Thurston point of view where every single calorie has to be specific. Like, he's probably making a lot more money at this point, so he's able to do that. It looks as though he's living somewhere abroad at this point. Maybe he's training there for a while. That will help. Getting the extra sunlight will boost your testosterone. It's little things like that, guys, where it makes me think, like, it's plausible, but not on year 6, year 7. I don't think gains to that extent are plausible. Like, it's just such a big jump that it makes me worry a little bit, okay? I think I put another one together here. Okay, and this is quite telling. This is quite a telling picture because he definitely looks wider around the stomach, as in a better sense. Like, his abs just look more defined. They look stronger. They look bulkier. Everything looks more masculine. His neck is obviously a lot bigger. His traps are bigger. His shoulders are significantly bigger, which is, I don't like these things, but it's usually a good sign of steroid use, traps and shoulders. I mean, it's not concrete, but it seems to be a consistent amongst people who have. Now, he could have just taken TRT, and like I said, I'm not actually against it, guys. If he's worked all his life to get to the elite shape on the left, or the picture we saw earlier, and he looks fucking fantastic, and he's making a really good amount of money, but then he sees people above him like Mike Thurston and Matt Does Fitness with millions of followers making 10 times more than him. You know, I'm just speculating. I'm not sure if that's true. No offense there, Rob. You know, I saw he was hanging out with Conor McGregor. He might want to make Conor McGregor level money. Well, you don't really blame somebody for taking a little bit of TRT if he's testing his blood every single week or whatever. He's monitoring it. He's got professionals helping him with it. You know, maybe he's consulting a doctor every single, once a week, whatever, and going through what he needs to do. If he's made that money and it's within his limits and it's going to help his career and it's safe and he's doing it under supervision, I don't really see it being the worst thing in the world, but only under those circumstances. And, if he's trained all his life and he's got to an elite shape and he can't then improve on that, it's kind of boring. What's the point in going to the gym at that fucking point? Like, that's what people forget. Oh, he's just doing it to, just to scam everybody. It's like, no, guys, if you've trained for 6 years and you cannot physically look any better anymore and you're getting annoyed and you're bored, like, that's the biggest part. You're going to the gym for no reason other than to maintain. Well, for somebody who's gone into the gym in the first place to make gains and it's exciting and they find it fun, a little bit of TRT just to boost your testosterone up by 300 nanograms per deciliter doesn't seem like the worst thing in the world to me. I'm only 3 years into my fitness journey, but once, 2 in a way, taking it seriously. But, once I do get to that 4th year and I'm 30 years old, I will consider it. 100% I'll consider it. I've always said, but only under certain conditions which make me feel safe. Like, I'm not going to do it if there's risks involved, or if I look like he does on the right already, because my genetics might be better, who knows? Well, then I wouldn't do it. I don't want to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. There's no point being a robot. But if I know I can look a little bit better, and it's completely safe, and there's going to be 0 side effects, and my testosterone at that age begins to slightly drop anyway, that I just don't really see a negative to it. You see Joe Rogan doing it. I believe most of the top fitness guys are doing it. Everybody in Hollywood's doing it, like Chris Hemsworth, Captain America. Like, it's become a normal feature, and I made that video before and caught some shit on it, but you can see the boredom. Like, imagine being in the shape on the left, and it's great, but it just never improves. Yeah, you might want to bump it up a bit, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt there if he has done that, and that's not to say that he is taking TRT or whatever, but in my opinion, it would be something like that. TRT or HGH, it would just, in my opinion, it would just have to be, because the face is a little bit wider, but he's still lean. And his bone structure is slightly changed, in my opinion. He just looks slightly wider, like as in his bones have just continued to grow. But like I said, bone mass and muscle mass for men does peak at 30. So if you are training young, and this is the benefit of bulking young and getting big, yeah, you shouldn't really make linear gains like he has, but at the end of the day, if you're pushing towards that age of 30 and that's all you're doing all day is bodybuilding, and you're around elite bodybuilders, and you got the best food, no stress, you're in the sun, whatever, probably having sex a ton, these guys are obviously really attractive, the big social channels, their DMs are probably popping off, it's probably, they probably got the perfect system. It's like guys who are in prison who end up coming out looking massive. You're getting perfect macros, you're sleeping 8 hours a day, you're training, you're resting a lot. Like, the environment, being surrounded by aggressive men, your testosterone's always high and on alert. Yeah, stress is a little bit higher, but, your testosterone probably spikes in prison. Like, you're in a perfect environment to build muscle. You've got nothing else to do all day. These guys are kind of in that scenario, but at an elite level. Like, it's even better than prison because, they got better access to calories. It's not as stressful. It's not as stressful as an environment. They've got access to proper weights rather than just, the ones that are in the kind of courtyard, so to speak. So there are caveats to this, but one other picture that I've got here is this guy. This guy on the left is the natural bodybuilding champion of Great Britain. Multiple-time champion, real famous guy. I can't remember his name. Sorry, buddy. But he looks fantastic, okay? The only thing I'd say is, as a comparison, well, the picture on the left, this guy is in a favorable light. This is a photo shoot scenario, okay? Like, this is an actual photo shoot. He's actually lifting weights at that exact moment as well to look more pumped. And the lighting is perfectly set up. We've got the black backgrounds. Like, He's clearly just been through a fake tan as well. And this guy's really white, which doesn't help. So I've looked at some of his other pictures. It doesn't help as much. He's not tanned like Rob is on the right. He's gone and got a fake tan, but it just doesn't look as pronounced. And he looks like, don't get me wrong, this is elite shape naturally. So again, this does prove it, guys. Okay, if this is natural and he's been tested and then won the competition, and you can get in this shape, but this is elite of the elite, number one, it's going to be very hard to fucking achieve, obviously. But at the same time, it is achievable, okay? So all of us don't have to look like that on the left, but you can look a lot better than you do now, which I think is the most important thing to take away from this. But the only thing I'd say is Rob is on this guy's level, if not better. Like, this is just a casual photo on a balcony with a camera. Like, it might be a camera phone, it might be a proper camera. I don't know. It looks like a proper camera from what I've seen when you zoom out and you get the actual image. Like, I've obviously cropped it and zoomed in and whatever. So it blurs slightly, naturally, from the pixelation. But I'd say Rob, apart from I say this guy's legs are bigger, but Rob is a very similar, definition, shape, size, whatever. So, either I think Rob's shoulders are probably bigger, maybe his traps potentially, I don't know. But either Rob is the elite of the elite in the natural sense, and like I said before, he was the king of the naturals, and maybe he's on this guy's level, or maybe he took something to get on this elite level. Who knows? But like, if this is the elite standard for natural on the left, like this guy's winning multiple competitions in Great Britain, Rob is from Ireland, so he would be competing in the same competition if he was natural, and he's on this guy's level, well then, you say it's plausible. Yeah, it's plausible. But it's the added gains for me. It's getting past year 4 and year 5 and then continually making gains. Like continuing to make major gains as well. Like not just, you've added 1 or 2 pounds of lean muscle. Like you've added maybe 4 or 5 pounds of lean muscle without adding any body fat, actually losing 1 or 2% body fat. That alarms me. Okay? But like I said, there's so many caveats to this. Like these guys aren't living a natural life. Like we get John, who works a 9-to-5 job, going, this guy's on steroids, clearly. It's like, yeah, but John, you're in the office 10 hours a day. You're bringing a lunchbox to work. Like, it's not in your kitchen cooking perfect foods like these guys are doing. And they're all making, like 6 figures minimum per year. And they're their own bosses. A lot of them are making a lot higher than that. But I'd say even the lower end ones making like 6 figures and above now. Rob's just released his pancakes. I imagine he's making something like 6 figures, 150k, 200k per year. He's got zero stresses, beautiful women in his life. He's living a very good lifestyle. He's got the best foods. He's in the gym whenever he wants to, in the sun. He's young. He's just about to hit 30 or has hit 30. And he's of that, peak muscle and bone mass. Who knows, guys? Like, who knows? It is my conclusion to this. What do I personally think he's taken? Well, based on my fitness knowledge, I would probably say that he got bored. And I don't blame him. Like, year 5, year 6, he saw Mike and Matt being massive. And he thought to himself, I fancy 1 million followers on YouTube too, and I want to get in slightly better shape. Yeah, I'm going to take some TRT, maybe some HGH. They're naturally produced in the body anyway. As long as I test my blood work and pull out when things go wrong, then I could just monitor this, do this for 6 months like a Hollywood actor, get in the best shape of my life, because he did just get absolutely fucking massive out of nowhere this year. A lot of people called him out in the comments. It's died down now because I think people got used to it. But I think that's what he did. Just got bored and thought, I want bigger gains. I want to get up to that elite level, like the 1% of the 1%. Which, if it's your whole career and you love doing it, then, if you couldn't make any more progression, I somewhat understand that. I completely understand that. What boredom that would be to never be able to get bigger. And I think personally that's what he's done. But it's also entirely possible that with more money, his lifestyle's improved. With being around these elite guys, he's learned a little bit more. Going out to places like Dubai while the rest of us have been sat with home gyms and whatever, and training in these gyms day in, day out with the likes of Thurston and all these top people, having the best foods, the best nutrition, really focusing and doubling down, because maybe it was a part-time job before, now it's 100% full-time. You can sleep a lot more. They're surrounded in a testosterone-fueled environment all day, every day. Beautiful women, competitive environment where you got to look your best compared to everyone else. You're in the gym, you're lifting heavy. It's entirely possible. Being in the sun, you get that testosterone spike. He gets a tan. looks a little bit leaner, a little bit bigger. It's entirely possible he has, but it kind of seems like beginner gains on year 6, and that, obviously is a red flag. But either way, guys, I think the biggest encouragement is that this here is undoubtedly natural. This is undoubtedly natural, and I think any guy can get to this level. I just don't see any reason why not. I think, this is like his 4 or 5 year journey when he got to this point, and this is done. This is fully cooked. So, if anybody wants to look like this and be a multi-millionaire and have a perfect life, some great assets and a beautiful girlfriend on your arm, I mean, that's in the bag. You can get to that elite level. It just takes dedication. As for getting to this level, I mean, that's completely up to you. Like, I don't know, are you a bodybuilder professionally? Like, is this your exact craft and you want to either take TRT, HGH, whatever? I don't think it was stuff like Tren, whatever. I don't really think a lot of these guys go down that route. But, and he's called out Mike Thurston before on steroids, so he's definitely aware of this. And it's definitely irked him a couple of times where maybe he's thought, how come Mike looks like that? And I've been training my ass off and I can't get to that level. That's why I think he finally gave in. But, I don't want it to ruin his brand. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world to do once you've inspired millions from looking like that. Millions of men have now got in the gym and said, I want to look like that. You've done your job. You got bored. Now you want to get up to this level. Well, fair enough. Like, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. I'm not too much against it. So I don't think anybody should give the guy shit for doing it. He's done the natural part. And, plausibly on the right, he could be completely natural. Who really knows? But my verdict is that he did just say, okay, fuck this. I want to go up one more level. And, from somebody who loves constantly improving myself and does obviously men's self-improvement, I can understand the logic of being bored and having no more gains to get to. It just wouldn't really make sense at that point. I'm in the gym for no reason, and it's just I'm getting bored. I want to try and knock it up a level and experience what Mike and Matt and etc. and these top guys are experiencing. Yeah, I can see the appeal. I can really see it. But elite shape naturally, yeah, it's possible, guys. It really is possible. Getting in that shape on the right-hand side, well, when you get to that level, that's completely up to you. It depends what you want to do. You're going to have a discussion with yourself first. But any young guys watching this, because I imagine the older guys are probably, knowledgeable in this sense of fitness, use the 4 or 5 year period naturally, always. Like, that's not even up for debate, okay? Use your 4 or 5 years at the start, get your gains, get in the best possible shape you can possibly be in, and then decide. You might be like, wow, I look fucking great. I don't need to do shit. My life's amazing. Well, great for you. But then some guys might be in this kind of industry where they are like Rob, where they think, well, maybe I want to kick it up a notch again. And I don't know how Rob got there. He might have got there down route B. He might have got there via route A or whatever. But at the same time, it's up to you at that point. You have to make a decision. And I think if anybody wanted to use TRT, HGH, whatever, and you were getting your blood work tested, you had a doctor on site, you had the money to monitor everything, and this is all you do all day, well, I can understand that. I can really understand it. But elite level fitness, naturally, well, we can definitely see here, it's possible. If you want to grab our men's lifestyle supplement and Male Advantage ebook, all links are in the bio.